this club's about winning trophies. I'm inexperienced in a lot of those things.
3-0.
Can you believe it?
Almost lost the cup and you win it. The new European champions, the treble, the dream come true for you.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Football, bloody hell. But they never give in. And that's the winner.
Welcome to American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we are bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Ooh, sir. How you doing? How you doing? Battering of Lask in Austria. No fans in sight. It was an odd experience. 5-0. Good win on the road, but never seen a game played in front of no fans before. So that's new normal maybe going forward.
Sir, that must be how Man City feel. Igalo FC, unbelievable touch and a rocket from Igalo to break the score sheet in the first half. Unbelievable. The Nigerian kicks on for Manchester United. Absolutely love to see it.
You know, the things are going our way, that the boys are playing well when I don't even think they put out a vintage performance, and he still rolled to a 5-0 win. 2 goals in stoppage time. Dan James gets a goal. Greenwood gets a goal. Gallo with an unbelievable hit. Mata finally scored. He should have scored probably a hat trick in this game, but the boys did the deed, won the tie. You know, I don't even know if there's going to be a leg 2, but they got everything done in the first part.
To be fair, Lask, they are seated absolutely last in the Europa League. So for us to beat them, by 5, I don't want to take that away. The lads deserved it. Great team performance. You can really see everything is clicking. I mean, the team can do no wrong since Bruno joined, and also Igalo. I mean, highlights for me from the match. Again, eerie, like the sound when we watch that game, seeing no fans. It's almost like a training session. You can hear the coaches, you can hear the players talking to each other. I even heard Maguire at one point, talk to me, Sergio. Really bizarre stuff. And these are the times we live in, right?
It is. And speaking of the times we live in, so we're doing a remote pod because that's kind of the nature of the beast at the moment. Don't want to heighten the risk, of anyone getting exposed to what we're dealing with here. But like you said, very eerie. No one there. Kind of like a under 18 game when they play in Old Trafford and the place is empty. Kind of interesting that you could hear the players talk to each other. Kind of added like a spice to it that you don't normally get, but definitely weird, when you're used to a packed out place. I'm sure Lask would have played a little better if their home supporters were around to cheer them on.
I don't know about that. They look pretty poor.
they put up a fight for the first 20.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I felt confident. We had our chances, and we grew into the game, like you said. And Lask, after the first 2, they were dead men walking, and they faded pretty hard, sir, just like a bad player in FIFA. Talking about remote pods and quarantines. The higher ups here at the American Red Devils, we couldn't take the risk, sir. I'm an asthmatic. I'm technically high risk. I got a little baby, so we're trying to keep it above board. I know you've been out just kind of all public places the last couple of weeks, so you got to be careful here.
You never do be too careful. I'm not sure I've been all out. We were actually supposed to be on a flight right now. It's 6:12 in California, and that was what time our flight was leaving for London for the Spurs match on Sunday. So I think we'll get to it when we get to the news, but obviously we're not going to that match.
But that's just talking about that from a personal perspective. We originally go into the Bournemouth away match. My son comes, 9 weeks early. Had to cancel that trip. Then we were like, all right, let's do Tottenham away. And,
my baby's due, right? I have a May 5th due date, and I was like, 2 months early. We should be fine.
Yeah, and then we were like, set up this trip. We got the flights. We already paid the tout, we got the tickets for Tottenham away. And it's terrible. It breaks my heart as a fan to see our team that we supported all season, the ups and the downs. We stuck through them. And I know the American Red Devils, they feel the same way. Like we're playing lights out. Everything's going our way. And it's just like this Tottenham match would have been the match to go to. We would have battered Jose Mourinho's Tottenham, gone on for top 4, probably going to win the Europa League or the FA Cup, maybe both, sir, and get top 4. And then now the cloud of uncertainty, this global pandemic has, brought in sports to its knees. And, obviously It breaks my heart we're not able to go. This is the first year I haven't gone to see United in a long time. You and me have made it a yearly tradition. And, it was even before we started the podcast, we were going every year. Looks like we have to do 2 trips next year. What do you think, sir?
The wife's going to love that for sure. We're not going to London for a variety of reasons, right? The baby scare, obviously what's going on with coronavirus. But this game, right now, it's Thursday night. It's still on, but this game's going to be off. Just between you and me talking. They're convening a meeting tomorrow morning. I think it's very unlikely that this game's held at all. If it is, it's going to be behind closed doors. But it's amazing that Premier League's the last to act, right? MLB canceled, March Madness canceled, Serie A, La Liga canceled, League One canceled, but Premier League.
Dude, Ronaldo under quarantine. I mean, as soon as I was very surprised they were going to go through with it. Again, with we had the Europe travel ban yesterday, so I mean, the fact we called our trip. I mean, there was more than coronavirus reasons, but. It just we couldn't. If I was a single man, sir, we'd probably be on that flight. If I didn't have a little baby at home, I didn't have to worry about getting stuck in the UK.
I mean, they're shutting down. They're shutting down travel to Europe anyway. UK does have the exception somehow. I don't know how you'd spin that to the wife. It's UK. It's fine. But the luck is not on our side. Luck is not on our side.
Island. That they got a moat. That's kind of why viruses can't go over the water. That's the argument, I think.
Yeah,
but
good luck with that.
Look, we can go on all day about coronavirus, sir. Quick PSA for the pod. If you like the podcast, you want to support us and support independent fan content, the best way to do it, drop a review on iTunes. We saw all the reviews lately. We really appreciate you for doing it. Some cheeky banner. Drop 5 stars. We'll mail you a sticker. You can email your review to americanreddevils.com@gmail.com, and we will shoot you a badge logo and a hashtag Sack Woodward sticker for the effort. And if you're feeling up for some cheeky merchandise, www.americanreddevils, click on store. Absolutely love it, sir.
Absolutely, right. Check out the store, check out the blog, still up and running. Coronavirus or not, we're going to keep providing for fans, by fan content, because that's what we do. And like you said, sticker giveaway, we're doing double sticker giveaway. So even if you've written a review, write another one. We'll take it. 5 stars all day. Send us your address. Send us a screenshot to americanreddevils@gmail.com. We'll get you not only the badge sticker, but the Woodward Out sticker as well, because it's important. That's how we get found, sir. It's all good stuff.
And we would be nothing without you, the fans. So just appreciate everyone who likes and subscribes to the pod. So the pod never sleeps. Last versus Manchester United, Europa League round of 16, leg 1 might be the last leg, sir.
Soul leg.
Linzer Stadium, empty crowd. There was one bloke in the stands singing United.
He was outside, actually, outside the stadium.
Yeah, I mean, that's an awesome fan right there. The lineup, let's jump in. We had Mr. Clean, Sergio Romero in net. We had the 4-2-3-1 from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Luke Shaw left back. McGuire, Bailly. Love seeing Bailly at the back. Williams on right back. That's one of the first times I can recall seeing him play there. Fred McTominay, midfield 2. Bruno, number 10. Mott on the right. James on the left. Gallo FC up top. Sir, what'd you make of this lineup?
I was pretty excited when I saw this lineup come out early. Obviously, this game got played a little earlier given daylight savings times in Europe and in Austria. But I was excited by it. It's a pretty strong 11. Williams playing it right back. I think that's because we have a minor injury crisis in that position. AWB is out. Delo is out. So Williams given a shot there, but a strong starting 11 for sure. Fred, McTominay, Fernandez, Gallo up front. I think this 11 is good enough to beat Spurs away in my mind. So should definitely be able to do the job at Lask, empty stadium. I think the only people around were the wags, sir. I think the only ones are like the Austrian wives. There was one shot of her, like someone smoking a cigarette in the stands watching the game. I don't know who that was.
Sir, we had more people at our high school football games back in the day. First half, let's jump in. United, the better team. Lask were coming at us. They had some opportunities as we kind of found our foot. 24th, I think 17th minute, Mata had a good chance. Ball fell to him, but deflected away. I thought this was going to be a goal. 24th minute, another good chance falls to James. Keeper wise to it. That was the only thing he was wise to the rest of the game. But Dan James with a great shot. He needs a goal. I was rooting for Dan James. He's been getting some flack by United fans. I have no idea why. He's from the Championship, came from Swansea, a pretty low fee. Give the kid a year. I mean, he looks great. He's absolutely rapid. Again, I have said sometimes his final product isn't there, but that's what you expect from a youngster, sir, no?
Yeah, he's raw around the edges. I think the problem with Dan James is he came out of the blocks so hot, scoring against Chelsea in his debut at Old Trafford. Everyone expected him to just continue that form, bag, double-digit goals. This is what you're going to expect. He's a young player. He's going to be inconsistent. I think he is getting back up to form for sure. We'll talk about it in a little while.
Dude,
he had a good goal in the second half for sure. His pace is unbelievable, and he is a good player. Will only get better the more he plays in the Premier League side like Manchester United. So you got to give him time. It's not even his first full season in the league.
I could get the jersey. I'm more like a McTominay 39.
No jerseys. No one's getting a jersey.
I know. I don't get jersey. I don't get the Chevrolet jersey. Sure. I don't even like the Adidas. I want Nike, hair jerseys. That's what I'm waiting for. Only a matter of maybe 2 years. We're off.
Well,
24th.
We're not buying jerseys because our luck is so poor with them, sir. Chevrolet removed. Either way, none of us buying a jersey until they retire or get a testimonial.
24th minute, McTominay with a good chance from a corner, but it goes wide, sir. You got the next opportunity here.
And then in the 28th minute.
Igalo sets himself and scores magnificently. Brilliantly done by Odion Igalo. Well, Manchester United have had their chances.
Sir, this is one for Telemundo. I mean, an unbelievable goal. That touch from Odion Igalo, I tell you what, he's got a slightly better touch than our previous striker, Romelu Lukaku. What a goal he put in.
Unbelievable. Bruno Fernandes into Igalo, I think is 1, 2, 3, bang, top bar down from Igalo FC. He's feeling it right now, in great shape, on great form, perfect striker. I have to think the rate he's going and the form he's in, he'll be back next year for Manchester United.
I have to say so as well. I think that looks to be the case. And you almost don't fault it, right? If you're going to Greenwood's the real deal, he probably needs another year. You keep Igalo, maybe you invest elsewhere and don't have to bring in a striker because, the striking options are looking pretty good at the moment.
I think you need a 9. Because Martial plays on the left. Rashford plays on the left. Sancho.
Well, Martial will play up front if Rashford's going to play on the left, right?
No, this is true, but I'm saying having that true number 9, it's either got to be. We're kind of we have some tweeners, right? Martial, Rashford, they're not quite it. Igalo can be it, but we probably need someone in front of Igalo. Remember, we're gonna have Champions League football. We have a lot of fixtures to play, so there's plenty of games to go around, and we can rotate who plays number 9. But I do think we do need a Werner, Timo Werner, someone like that who's just an all-out goal-scoring machine, and then you can pair him with Martial, you can pair him with Rashford.
I would love that. We probably do need that, but I think Igalo is a good player to have around regardless. Scrappy player, he looked great all game. He had a good touch. League Cup or playing Palace away, the Brightons of the world, Burnley. He's tough workman style striker. So this was not a workman goal, man. I was saying he's not going to score any golosos. I ate my words like we do on this pod all day because that is a world of a goal. That touch. Great pass from Fernandes, but what a finish. What a goal. Good for him.
No, it is true. And, here at the American Red Devils, you got to be humble. Because
that's what we do,
when he came
baby.
in, we were kind of making fun of the deal. Who would expect some, played for Watford in 2016, didn't end there great, went to China, he comes back. But, after getting to know him, watching a few games, the interviews, it's really the intangibles that led me to really like Igalo. Humble guy, so focused on getting back to fitness for Manchester United. And it goes to the ethos that I it's kind of been crystallizing for me. Players who want to play for Manchester United, it means something to them. Bruno Fernandes, he told Sporting Lisbon, I want to come to Manchester United. Igalo, childhood Manchester United fan. That's the intangible that gets players out on the pitch giving everything. When you deal with the Pog saga, you deal with Lukaku, all these big money deals we've done in the past, do they really want to be at Manchester United, or do they want to be at Manchester United when everything's going great? Do they want to be at Manchester United when they got to do the dirty work? And right now, we have found an identity through these players who want to play for us and give everything for the badge, and I absolutely love it. And I think that's why even the Matas are kicking on, sir.
No, what we're doing right now is we're bottling something special. I think the infusion of these two players, not only in their ability on the pitch, but just the personalities that they bring to the locker room. I think that's just, we've been locking that, and they both came in hungry, humble, maybe Fernandez isn't so humble, but that's what you want out of him. He's a little bit more arrogant. Igalo's more soft-spoken, but they're both delivering on the pitch, and they seem to be doing the same and bringing up their teammates around them. So what's not to like at the moment from our number 9 or number 25, but he's our number 9 as long as he keeps scoring these goals.
40th minute, great block from Bailly on the line. Eric Bailly, he's a force at the back. Love to see him healthy playing for Manchester United. 44th minute, great chance from Maguire on a corner. Should have done better. Slabhead should have more goals, sir. I think the only criticism from Harry Maguire is probably should be getting a few more goals from set pieces, but I will have to say he's been playing week in, week out, and been holding it together. So class.
He's been playing
from
well.
The English international. Sir, second half, any thoughts at halftime for United? I mean, we're kind of cruising at this point, up 1. I didn't think Lask was too threatening.
No, they weren't too threatening. I don't think they ever had a shot on target in this game. But, I think Ole would have said, hey, this team's there for the taking. Don't let them get back into it with a scrappy goal. Take your chances. Be clinical. Don't be sloppy on the ball. They were a little sloppy in the first 20 for sure. They definitely grew into the game, but I would just say kill them off, and they certainly did.
Kill the boy, John Snow. 51st minute, ball falls to Juan Mata, and he should be doing better, but he volleys it over the bar. Mata had a few chances here. And, sir, in the 58th minute.
Dan James, Bruno Fernandes alongside. It's Dan James who scores a splendid second goal for Manchester United. Lask paying the price for backing off.
Sir, it's not the same without the crowd. I mean,
it's amazing. You can hear Igalo calling for the ball. You can hear Dan James tell. It is kind of weird. It's really weird, actually.
It's almost like playing the audio on the pod. It's like you and me would do a better job getting excited about this goal. James cutting in on the right, absolute belter. Glad to see him get a goal. I mean, he's needed this. He's had a drought, but the work rate from the lad, you can't question. Fighting for every blade of grass for Manchester United. I really do like Dan James. I rate him to be a great player for Manchester United.
He's fit the mold of all 5 players that have come in under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and that's the right mix of aptitude and hunger and desire, and he's showing it. You can see how much that goal meant to him. He knows the drought. He knows the criticism he's getting from certain patches of the fan base. Unfairly, I think, people should give him the young lad time where he's coming from, but good for him to get a goal. You know how much it means to him, and hopefully he can continue to kick on because I rewatched the City game. If his end product gets just a little bit better, he will be an unbelievably class player because he's got that speed is just so dangerous.
Yeah, and I think people underestimate. It's like when you're playing at that level for Dan James, he needs experience, right? Because the decision-making experience, it's like, rewatching it, going over the film with Ole, he'll totally tell him, look for the square pass there. And he goes from playing on the right to the left. I mean, that's quite a task to do for a youngster. And, playing against like the City, clearly he needs some time.
And also the state of play at United has just taken a quantum leap forward, right? In the last 6 weeks with Bruno on the field. They're in positions that they weren't even in before, right? They're in opportunities that he hasn't even encountered yet as a United player. So he's going to have to just get used to players calling for that ball at the top of the box where they should be in that cutback, because we should be working on that cutback all day. It works in FIFA. It works in real games as well.
It works in FIFA, sir.
It still works in real games, sir.
Should be doing it.
We should be doing it. City does it.
62nd minute, Igalo FC hits the post. He's hungry for more. I mean, I absolutely love this from Odi and Igalo. He deserved another goal here.
He did. He had a great game, though. Workman performance, really good link-up play. He's got great hold-up play. I think Lukaku's bigger than him, but he's definitely got a better touch and a better ability to hold off those defenders. So he had a great game. He could have had a couple goals for sure.
Look, I know you're a Lukaku fan, so for you to say that is a pretty big deal. But it's just systems, right? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer Lukaku's probably a little too clunky, but for someone playing in Italy, like a Conte, Inter Milan, it's great. You need to find the right fit as a player, and as a coach, you want the right fit. So Igalo, while I thought he was more of a Lukaku, he's kind of proven me completely wrong with the deft touch, the turn, and an eye for goal. I mean, absolutely love that from the Nigerian. 71st minute sub, Chong for Gomez. Chong signed that new deal, so glad to see him get some minutes. Chong for James. I was thinking about Gomez, why he didn't get on the field. So, I mean, where is Gomez? He hasn't signed the deal. So I really do rate him and think he should be seeing more time. But unfortunately, I have to think he's probably headed out the door because we're not seeing him feature, and he's not penning a new deal. I know Nicky Butt was coy talking about Gomez earlier. 78th minute sub Pereira for Fernandez. Our Portuguese Magnifico had a great run out, and Andres Pereira, good to have him. Like, this is where he needs to be. He's like a sub when we're up away at Lask, and everyone who hated on Pereira, look, rightfully so, but he was stuck in a midfield too, week in, week out with horrific injuries in our midfield, and it was too much for him to handle. He'd probably be the first one to admit it. I wish it wasn't too much for him to handle, but this is the type of run out he needs versus just featuring week in, week out for Manchester United, because he's not ready for that. And maybe he's not. Maybe he needs a loan, sir.
Because you remember, at the end of the day, he's actually a young player, considering that he's a midfielder, 22 years old. He's not Jesse Lingard. We've been getting Jesse Lingard forever, never come due. Pereira, he's a great squad player. He's a workman. He'll run around the field. He'll put in a tackle, and he even has a goal in his locker. If you give him enough chances, he'll find the back of the net eventually.
And, sir, didn't have to wait much longer. The special Juan in the 82nd minute. Get ready for the high school soccer goal here.
Third goal now would surely wrap it up for Manchester United, and they have. Juan Mata in at the start and the finish of the move.
Sir, a great goal from Juan Mata. Great pass picked out by Fred, cut through the defense. And Juan Mata making up for his previous woes. He could have had a couple goals in this game easily, but finally buries his chance. 3-0 when well and truly dusted at this point.
El Pastor, sir. Don't know where that nickname came from. Maybe that's because he had 2 weddings. I don't know, but Fred is red, and great ball from him into Mata. Glad to see the special one get his goal. I really do rate Juan Mata, and that left boot, sir. Nice to see him hit it. 85th minute sub Greenwood for Igalo. Get Greenwood some minutes, sir. And it didn't take long. Greenwood on the mark in the 92nd minute.
Here's Greenwood. Mason Greenwood. Off both posts and in.
Ridiculous.
Emphatic finish to finish off Lask. Well, Mason Greenwood, doubtless irritated not to be given his chance from the start tonight by Manchester United. It's his 5th in the competition now, and he's not played in every game for Manchester United.
What a player he's turned out to be, sir. What a hit off the post, off 2 posts, I think, and in.
Dude, venomous shot from Mason Greenwood. He is ruthless when he hits the ball. I absolutely love it. He doesn't try to, no curler, no touch, no nothing, just like RVP, pure venom. Absolutely love it.
I mean, he's the reason why you're like, well, do you need to buy another striker? He's only 18, and he's going to get better every year for sure. So he's an unbelievable talent.
I think with Woodward and the board being that stingy, sir, you always want another striker. You always want another striker, right?
No, for sure. If conventional wisdom would say you need another striker, Galu, you got off to a great start, but whether he can kick on for seasons and seasons remains to be seen. But Greenwood, we have a true talent in him. We were, lucky to get Marcus Rashford.
Like, how much would he be worth, you think, on the open market? I mean, I saw that tweeted out. That was an interesting question.
If he traded now?
Yep.
I would think like at least 70 million. For an 18,
70, yeah, I would think 50 something, maybe.
For an 18-year-old that scored this many goals already, he's a pretty good player. Showing a lot of upside.
Yeah, no.
I mean, how much did Holland go for, right?
Yeah, Holland was not. He's probably worth more than what he went to Dortmund for, because that cheeky deal that Mino Raiola, Jabba the Hutt, was wheeling and dealing there. But yeah, I would think it's a tough price, but ain't no way we're gonna sell Mason Greenwood, sir. It wasn't over. I thought it was over. 93rd minute, Andres Pereira with the goal.
Always likes to shoot.
Always likes to shoot.
Oh, it's beaten the goalkeeper. Well, woe upon woe for Lask.
Sir, woe upon woe for Lask. Poor Lask.
Yeah, the last keeper, feeling bad for him. I mean, that was a tough go. And that was it. Manchester United 5, Lask 0. We win, but again, the cloud overhanging the match. Even the match recap seems bizarre because of that weird audio, right? It's, will we play again, and who knows when? I mean, obviously United will feature again. It's just a question of when, and if it will be this season or if there will be any Europa League championship or anything. I would think probably not at this point, right? This is just, this is futile.
No, I mean, I don't think we're all looking forward to this game on Sunday. It's a massive game for top 4 repercussions on the road against Mourinho. It's like storybook stuff, writes itself. But between you and me talking and whoever's listening, I just don't see this match going down. And if it does, it's going to be another empty stadium. Best case scenario.
I was referring to Europa League. Like they say they're going to pause the competition, but and even Champions League. I mean, that was a rumor that at least they're going to be paused, but then the Euros in the summer. We can talk about it more later, but I would doubt that there is going to be a Europa League champion at this point. Kind of where we are in the midst of this coronavirus pandemic.
I don't know how it's going to play out. I mean, they might pause everything for a month and then push on into the summer and push Euros to next year. I don't. So there's so much unknown that all we can do is hope for the best, hope everyone's safe. At the end of the day, it's all about public safety. We want everyone to be okay. But in our heart of hearts, this is a Manchester United podcast. I want to see the boys play. We've weathered a lot of shitty games, for like the last couple of years. And I'm ready. We're all of a sudden on a run. This is the same unbeaten run as the original always at the wheel. I know we're going to be there to watch Jose lose. Would have been amazing.
I know, it would have been so great. It's like that trip to London is like, it's probably one of the highlights of my year, short of the birth of my son. But going to London, drinking some dark ale, singing with the best fans in the world, seeing the lads play live. I mean, and then doing the live content for the pod. We love sharing that and encouraging other fans to make the trip abroad and, kind of feel like the rug's been kind of taken out from under us. I mean, not only that, not like I understand not being able to go, but then not even be able to watch the games, and this, you have to think if Arteta has it, who else does? I mean, and that's kind of it unwinds very fast.
No, if Arteta has it, they're not going to play. There's no way.
I mean, closed doors, sir. Why don't you just sign?
But that's the manager, though. I think about the manager has it. So he's supposed to be at the game, coaching his team.
Who's Arteta hanging out with? I'm just
his teammates.
I know the Turkish owner. I think might. I think some of the Arsenal players were exposed to the Olympiacos owner. I think that was the source. Don't quote me on it.
Hard to say.
No, but I saw an article like a few days ago that said the Olympiacos owner had some contact with Arsenal players. He's Turkish, and then obviously Ozil, and there's a lot the Turkish connection at Arsenal. So clearly he was mingling with them, his fellow countrymen, and that's kind of maybe how it started. Who knows? Only speculation and complete nonsense here at the American Red Sir, let's jump into the match. Reaction, possession. You wouldn't believe it. Lask had 50% of the ball to United's 50%, but shots on target, absolutely nothing from Lask, 10 from Manchester United. And Manchester United have never lost in 9 meetings with Austrian sides in all European competition. 1-8, and they drawn 1, sir. And this was United's biggest away win in European competition since beating Bayern Leverkusen 5-0 in the Champions League group stages in November 2013. United have also kept 12 clean sheets in the last 18 games in all competitions so far in 2020, at least 4 more than any other Premier League side.
Not bad.
I have to speculate Phil Jones hasn't been featuring. That's got to be the reason. What do you think?
I think Aaron Maguire coming into his own, and I think that midfield being shored up by none other than Matic usually week in, week out. So the defense has really come together, coming to become, went from a weakness to a strength in this side, and now all of a sudden we're scoring goals as well. So the future is looking bright if there are games to be played.
And United have had 12 different goal scorers in Europa League this season, more than any other side in the competition, probably why we are favored to win it. And Bruno Fernandes has been involved in more goals than any other player in Europa League this season, with 10, with the Portuguese scoring assisting 4 with Manchester United and Sporting combined. And Odion Ighalo, sir, it keeps going, has scored in all 3 of his starts in all competitions for Manchester United. Has 4 goals, the first player to score in his first 3 starts for the club since guess who? Romelu Lukaku, sir.
There you go. I think he's going to keep it going, whenever the next start may be.
And the Dan and James streak, he scored for the first time since August 31st, 2019, ending a run of 32 games and 2,527 minutes without scoring in all competitions, sir. I mean, Daniel James, congrats to him. And Mason Greenwood scored his 5th Europa League goal of the season. Unbelievable. He is the first teenager to net as many as 5 goals in any single European campaign for Manchester United. I mean, you look at these stats, you look at this momentum in this side, it's absolutely tragic that this might be the end of the line for Manchester United, at least for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, because even if they get on with it in a month, you know, you're gonna
Exactly.
some of the wins gonna be out of your sails because the team is playing so confidently. They're all hitting top form exactly when we want them to. Even our players that aren't even, you know, necessarily starters are starting to play well. Chong had a great game today. Looked like he's growing in confidence as well. So it really is just a shame. And you know, it is the nature of the event. What we're talking about, this is like a global thing that's affecting everyone. But it is just, you know, we have our own bias, we have our own bubble. As Manchester United fans, this Manchester United pod, it's a shame, sir, because we've had our ups and downs, and now we're finally got our ups.
It's not shame that they're going to shut it down. I mean, shame that there's a global pandemic. Just to clarify, not like,
no, it's a shame that everything that's happening right now. We don't want to discount, the seriousness of what's going on.
Yeah, we're not good at talking about global events.
Yeah, this is why we have a football pod and not a world events pod.
The fact we're even talking about this, it's like, we would even say we're talking about too much. It's just you can't get away from it, unfortunately. Look, what do we know, sir? Let's check in with the manager, the man at the wheel, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Okay, the manager's here to take your questions on the game. If you'd like to put your hand up. James?
Oh, yeah, the conditions weren't easy. Bearing in mind what's been going on the last 24 hours, but you did make it look easy.
Well, the boys were fantastic. I think they deserve a lot of credit and praise for the way they went about the job. And there was loads of quality in our finishing. Some fantastic goals and some football we should be proud of.
Gut, also die Frage war, es war nicht einfach heute Abend hier oder auch die letzten 24, 48 Stunden, aber was sagen Sie zur Leistung von der Mannschaft? Die Antwort daraufhin, ja, ich muss sagen, fantastisch haben wir gespielt. Ich muss ein großes Lob an meine Mannschaft, an die Jungs geben, wie sie agiert und wie sie gespielt haben. Wir haben Qualitäten im Abschluss gezeigt und auch tolle Tore geschossen.
Ollie, I know it's possibly still a bit premature, but given how well Odeon has done so far, have there been any talks about a permanent signing there? He seems to have.
He's Odeon has done really well when he's come in, and he's enjoying himself, and we're just gonna, and he will improve and get better. And but he has qualities that we saw in him that we needed, and we'll still need those qualities for next season. So let's see what we do.
Ollie, what are those qualities?
Just a question. The question, yeah. The player was
Odeon.
Odeon, okay. Was sagen Sie zur Leistung von Odeon, zu einem Spieler? Die Antwort daraufhin.
Okay, I think we're good on that. There was like audio. They were having their own audio issues, sir. They were like, you could tell by Ole's reaction that something was going on with the mic because he kept moving mics around and there was all kind of background noise. So, not the best presser in Austria.
I'll tell you what, before doing a podcast, I thought audio was very easy. Like video, you just point a camera, you're good to go. Audio, very complicated, sir. You're at the board, and it's not easy. We have a million dials on that audio board. Don't know what most of them do, and listen to that audio. Hopefully, we don't sound as bad.
I'm just trying not to touch anything, sir. That's kind of been my tactics. Just do less and not mess with any of the knobs. So far, so good.
Your only hope while we're in quarantine. So you're going to be running the board.
There you go.
You're doing a good job. You're doing a good job.
Trying my best.
All right, sir. We have another match, and as we all know, there is an emergency meeting tomorrow morning. Today, I want to say around 5 p.m. Pacific, the EPL put out a presser. We are playing. Games are going on as planned. I believe that wasn't even behind closed doors either. They were just saying, hey, business as usual.
Yep.
And then shortly after that, breaking news, Mikel Arteta test positive for the coronavirus. And then shortly after that, the emergency meeting. So again, you would think, I actually think following that as well, I can confirm Arsenal's fixture versus Brighton was canceled, but Arteta did have heavy contact. You can see we tweeted it out. Didn't make out with David Moyes, pretty close at the weekend. So, David Moyes, he's probably going to be tested again. The Arsenal team going to be quarantined. Apparently Leicester have 3 players as well. Chelsea canceled training. So this thing is spreading. Essentially, the urgency around canceling gatherings is spreading like wildfire, and things are being canceled. I was shocked that the EPL said business as usual, literally today.
No, especially after all the news in the U.S., right? I think NBA was canceled yesterday. MLB was canceled today, as was the March Madness. So it felt like it was in the tea leaves. I thought best case scenario, they have it behind the closed doors. But the fact that announcement came out today that, business as usual, as you said, but it looks like that's going to be likely to change. We might have a emergency blog post tomorrow to report on what's going on, but it looks likely. Hey, we never know. We're going to act like we're playing on Sunday, sir. Right? That's what we're breaking down this game.
Yeah, but Gary Neville slated the league for saying it took Arteta test positive for you to consider canceling it. Again, this is public safety. Things in the UK are different than the United States. It's not exactly the same situation. Sure, it's an island. They
have, I think they have planes.
They're immune,
and trains.
But look, hey, it's actually really interesting. You think about the FA and how they're just like everything is being canceled. You look at all of Europe, Ronaldo's quarantine, everything, and they're just like game on. It's like it's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive to make that call.
I mean, I was shocked that the Anfield game, the Liverpool match, went on last night when you had players from Spain and fans from Spain after they've had a big spike in the last couple of weeks, business as usual. They're just like all rubbing elbows. It was kind of amazing. So hopefully that doesn't come to bite them in the ass. We obviously don't want anybody getting sick, but I just found that very questionable.
They beat Liverpool, so at the end of the day, let them have their day, celebrate. Let's hope everyone's safe. But again, it is tough. It's tough because like your brain, Going to that game, you wouldn't think anything of it, sir. It's not like something you can see. It's not like something you can touch, right? So it's like it's more of just a precaution, and people are being better safe than sorry, I think, is the moniker here. Not saying that all the Atletico fans brought coronavirus with them, but that might explain why Liverpool crumbled in stoppage time. So you never know.
Could be, sir. Could be.
All right, the game that we're going to break down here: Tottenham Hotspur. And yes, we were supposed to be going to it. It hurts saying that versus Manchester United at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Yeah, that's right. Daniel Levy has not come up with a better name. He hasn't sold it to anyone yet. I'm sure he will.
He's working on it.
Sunday, March 15th, 9:30 a.m. Pacific. And this match, sir, United are flying right now. We are absolutely killing it. And they got the greatest troll, Jose Mourinho, at the helm. He's doing the same troll things he did at Manchester United. I almost feel bad for him. They got completely spanked by Red Bull Leipzig out of the Champions League. Looked absolutely terrible. Without Song or Harry Kane, they got nothing, sir. Tottenham, this fixture, not worried about it at all. I mean, we would steamroll them at home. They got nothing, no backbone.
No, actually, I'd be a little worried. This is when they show up, right? This is when, having won in 6 matches, looking for their first win in 7, and that's when they would show up, finally put a performance together against Manchester United, get an early goal. This is actually what makes me more nervous than it should, because everything would say that we would smoke them at their new house. Put 3 or 4 past them.
FC, we're killing it. I'm not.
He should be starting.
Tottenham, lads, is Tottenham. I mean, look, they got a fancy new stadium. They got Mourinho as the manager, but I don't fear the Hotspurs at all. And they have won, sir, in 6 matches. I mean, and Manchester United, we're trying to keep the pressure on Chelsea for a top 4 spot. See if they can build on their impressive 2-0 victory. We beat Manchester City. You got to be able to beat Tottenham Hotspur. And Jose Mourinho has lost all 3 of his league matches against sides he used to manage. He lost to us before, and he lost twice to Chelsea. And Bruno Fernandes leading the line, involved in more goals, scoring 2 and assisting 3 than any other Manchester United player since his Premier League debut. Bruno's healthy, sir. There's no way we're going to be losing to Tottenham.
No doubt. It looks like a different team with him in the side. Team is playing with confidence. I have all, the skeptic in me is worried because they do tend to turn up. Teams do tend to turn up against Manchester United when we show up at their house, or even if they come to Old Trafford. Look what Aston Villa did.
So they know Harry Kane.
They got no Harry Kane, and I think Jose is just proper melting down. And I think Ole's got his number at the moment. I do think we could batter them if given the chance, so I hope this game does go on. But there's always that shred of doubt in the back of your mind, like they could show up. They're due to show up. They haven't showed up in weeks.
Yeah, we have clean sheets. We're absolutely like winning, dude, unbeaten in a long time. Manchester was at 10 unbeaten. I have to feel confident against Tottenham. And look, the real risk is that Chelsea's playing Aston Villa at Villa Park. You have to think Chelsea are going to win. Again, another must-win for Manchester United. I said we need 4 points from the City Tottenham fixtures. I'm gunning for 6 now. You're right. I'm feeling bullish. That could be a reason why we might lose. A little bit of history on Tottenham. Founded in 1882. They've been bottling it. Yes, they've been bottling it since 1882, sir.
They really like to. They like to stretch out every accomplishment they made on their Wikipedia page. Like this team has only won 2 League Cups. It's only won the title twice.
I'm surprised.
Less than Nottingham Forest. Less than Everton. It's like. On the Wikipedia page, you would have thought they're like some kind of European superpower. So keep going. I thought it was funny.
You got to stretch it out when you don't have that much. They won 2 league titles, 8 FA Cups, 4 League Cups, 7 Community Shields, 1 European Cup Winners' Cup, and 2 UEFA Cups. I mean, we're talking like you have to go way, way back, sir, to get to those titles. I mean, Tottenham, they haven't been good in a long, long time. Manchester United, we've always had their number. Sir Alex Ferguson famously said, lads, it's Tottenham. They should have had Liverpool in the Champions League final. They played better, couldn't win. The same thing. They don't show up in the big games. They always bottle it. I mean, I was rooting for Spurs pretty hard, trying to make sure Liverpool did not win the Champions League. But again, they proved they're bottlers, so they have in their DNA since 1882. United, some injuries, physioroom.com. Paul Pogba, he's kind of healthy. Rumors were he was going to feature at Lask
next week. It's always next week. It's next week.
It's always next week. Yeah,
I've been hearing that.
Who knows what's going on with Paul Pogba? Again, his brothers were sitting on a couch on some TV show in some country saying he should play for Real Madrid. The Guardian or some publication said Paul Pogba wants a new deal. You're hearing it from all angles.
We'll get to the news, sir. We'll get to the news.
He's still injured. Anthony Martial, calf injury, a little strain there. Hopefully he'll be back against Tottenham. Nothing major. Lee Grant has surgery. Fosu Mensah, no match fitness. Hard to say. Maybe he's going to be moved on. Fosu Mensah, it's kind of been really rated him, and then he hasn't really been able to kick on. Marcus Rashford, lower back injury, still no return there. So everyone rest up and self-quarantine. Sir, given those injuries, who is your starting 11? Who do you have playing against Tottenham Hotspur?
Sir, I'll tell you what, I'm not going for back 3. We're going for broke. Back 4, and we're going to take it to the Spurs and try to batter them at their new house. I got David De Gea in net, still number 1 on his day. Back 4 of AWB, Lindelof, Maguire, and Shaw. A midfield of Matic, Fred, and Bruno, and a front 3 of James, Igalo, and Tony Martial came from France. English press said he had no chance. Who you got, sir?
No chance, sir. He had no $50 million down the drain. Scores again.
That's what they say.
David De Gea in net. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Shaw, same back 4 as you. Although I got the same midfield too. Fred and Matic, Bruno, James, Martial, Greenwood, sir. So the only difference I have is 1 player. I think Martial gets back. And booking the bookies, Manchester United to win plus 118, Tottenham to win plus 203, and the draw plus 203. We are favorites in their house.
About
like
time.
You said, haven't been favorites in a while. We were favorites at Lask. I actually took that bet. Put 100 smackaroos on Manchester United to win. I think we were minus 120. So, I mean, the crazy odds against Lask. And so when we're favorites, sir, be careful.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I have a bad feeling about this game if it does happen, because Tottenham are due, especially when we're like, I'm sure all the pundits are going to say United's going to roll.
What are you negative about Manchester United?
I'm never negative. You know me, I'm always bullish.
You're predicting a loss? You're predicting a loss here?
No, 1-0. 1-0 nervy. Spooky. But I can see it going the other way.
6 games. Mourinho's already lost the dressing room. You're You're that afraid of this Tottenham team?
I'm just afraid of like the trends, and one's going down, one's going up, and sometimes that just doesn't work as you would expect. So I'm calling a 1-0 victory for United, of course, but I'm not going to bet the line.
So my prediction: coronavirus 1, EPL 0. The game doesn't happen.
That's your call? Yeah, that's probably likely.
If it does happen, I'm saying 4-0 to Manchester United. We're in such good form. We can't be beat at the time. Plus the clean sheet, sir. You gotta love it. Moving on, sir. We have United in the news. First bit of news. I know we banned the Pog drama a while ago on the podcast, but it is kind of rearing its head, and we might want to talk about it given he's about to start playing again, and there's discussions about maybe Paul Pogba wants to stay at Manchester United, sir. Talk so much smack. Last summer, he wants to leave. I don't have to repeat everything. Everyone knows it. He's here. He hates United, doesn't want to play. No idea what's going on. Posting social media, hanging out in Dubai, playing basketball. Now he wants to be at Manchester United, sir. Reportedly, he wants to sign a new bumper deal worth $400K. Good riddance, Paul Pogba, in my opinion. How are you feeling about this rumor? I ain't buying it. Are you?
I mean, I buy the fact that he might want to sign a new contract worth $400K a week. Whether or not we should do it is a whole other story. I mean, I think this basically what happened is that like Riola trotted, waddled around Europe looking for a buyer, and no one's like, A, we're not going to pay $100 million plus, and B, we're not going to pay him £400,000 a week or whatever United are paying or willing to pay him. So I think this is just lack of a market. There ain't no buyers looking to bring on Paul Pogba. So I think he's like, well, might as well stay at United and get a raise. I mean, why would we pay him a raise? Why don't we he's got 2 years left on his deal. Let's see how that goes. Yeah. If he deserves a raise, then we can talk about it. But right now he's making $300K a week. I think that's enough.
He's for doing what? Yeah, exactly. Look, Paul Pogba, I had the jersey. I gave it away.
Now he wants to stay. Now he wants to stay, sir.
Now he wants to stay, sir. So maybe it's me getting rid of the cursed jersey. Shout out to the fan on Twitter who tweeted us that he wanted it. Maybe it was me giving away the cursed jersey. Now Paul wants to stay. But the problem with Paul P that I had, and the reason why I have no problem giving away that Paul Pogba 42 is, does he want to play at Manchester United? And it's like he doesn't like. What about the article like literally a week ago saying he wants Ole out? Right now, he doesn't want to play under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He doesn't want to play under Jose Mourinho. It just seems to me the Paul Pogba drama is best suited for Real Madrid. Play in Spain. You can talk shit in the press all you want. The locker room's, all stars. It's completely ego city. Like, go there. That's the home for you. It's just at this point, maybe it's just because I'm sick of it. I just don't really care about listening about Paul Pogba, because the risk to me that this team is now flying on all cylinders for Paul Pogba to be sort of the negative Nancy in the dressing room and ruin that mojo, that risk is higher than the benefit he can provide, given how well we're playing with Matic, McTominay, Fred in the midfield right now. What do you think? Do you think there's a risk that if he comes in, he's gonna go sour?
Of course, without a doubt, sir. So that's where I'm at the moment. I think everyone is sick of this news, and then the counter argument you get from the Twitter population is that like, yeah, on his day when he's committed, he's a world-class player, which is true. But like, that means when he wants to play, when he is committed. And, I don't want to make a player want to play for a club. We're going to pay him money because no one else is willing to pay the money to make the transfer happen. But I don't want to mess with the mojo we got going. And also, I'm over Paul Pogba. It's like he's made it so clear that he doesn't want to be at this club, angling between himself and his family and his agent. It's enough of it. We have other talent.
It's like a bad girlfriend.
No, it's like
the girlfriend
she won't.
You should dump.
She keeps texting you, and you already broke up with her. But she's like, "Hey, come over." She sends you a photo and laundry. She's like, "Hey, come over." And it's like, I'm good. I want to walk away. I want a clean break. I'm good.
It's like, hey, you said you wanted to leave.
Exactly. You broke up with me. How do you broke up with me?
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, it's like she broke up with me. She comes back. You already found a new girlfriend, right? We're starting dating Bruno. She's great. Not as much baggage, and all of a sudden you come crawling back. I'm good.
It's kind of like we're the girlfriend Pogba broke up with, who then lost a lot of weight, who now he wants to like get back together with. Like, because when he was like at United, we were like kind of not. We were
not great.
Like, not playing well. A little,
We weren't great. We weren't great.
weren't great. Weren't treating him right. Then he leaves. Now all of a sudden we're like fit and firing all cylinders. He wants in, and I can see that. But it's just like Paul Pogba. I don't know, man. I think fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in this locker room, hey, maybe you can handle it. We don't know. This is all pure sideline, fan side chair, whatever you want to call it, speculation.
We're Muppets.
Paul
We're
Pogba
Muppeting.
might be the nicest guy, and he might be the leader in the locker room, and we don't see. Just everything I've seen outside of it, all the fishiness and all this stuff doesn't make me think he is. And he's actually bad for the likes of Jesse Lingard and Marcus Rashford. I think Bruno Fernandes, these types of players, Harry Maguire, all the new lads coming into the team. I think we found our core leadership, and we should be kicking on from there because we look like a new side, sir. 7 years since Sir Alex Ferguson stepped down as manager, and we look like an exciting team, a likable team, a team that, are going to go on and accomplish great things, especially with the addition of a Grealish, especially the addition of a Sancho. I mean, this team, Manchester United is about to be reborn again, sir. And I couldn't be more excited in 7 years. All the other hype was total fan nonsense. Bringing in Memphis Depay, he's going to be great. That's just like, that was wrong. Ole has done it right. The board, probably by accident, has done it right. They've cleared the dead wood. They've let the right players kind of rise up, the youth kind of mature, and we are adding in exciting signings, right? I actually think it's done by accident, but what they have is starting to work, and we cannot mess it up by bringing in someone who does not want to be there, screw up that dynamic in the locker room.
And what happens when we hit a rough patch? Which inevitably happens in football. It's like you're not always going to be flying high, winning every game. All of a sudden we're gonna get the same bullshit coming out of his press box, and I don't like the drama. I'm sick of talking it. Even the fact we're talking about it now. So
yeah, I know.
I'm probably good on it.
Apologies to the fans.
I know.
I don't miss the Yagen. I haven't seen a lot of Yagen out there.
No one else is Yagen.
Well. No one else is Yagen. Next bit of news: Tahith Chong, 2-year deal, Manchester United. Love it. Absolutely rate the youngster, sir. He's a more unfinished product than some academy players, but he has the edge. He has the pace, he has the moves. He's a great winger. He's got Manchester United in his DNA. Wants to be here. Absolutely love that he signed this deal.
Little Fellaini, he's got the fro apparent. So I think this is a good deal. Probably a player that, to be honest, better off going on loan next year. With nothing wrong with that. He's young. He's 19. He's not a Greenwood necessarily who's going to be ready to start like 30 games or play 30 games next season. But he's a talent, and we should be keeping him around because he's got a lot of upside for sure.
Sir, next bit of news.
Sir Alex Ferguson is helping Man United to sign 16-year-old Jude Bellingham. And that's the report coming out of a lot of the papers in the UK is that Dortmund were hot and heavy. If anyone knows about Jude Bellingham, highly rated, I believe Birmingham City player.
16 years old. Yeah.
16 years old, but like the kid is talented. You watch videos of him, he is a player. It's just a natural talent. He can kind of play all over the pitch, beat a man, put in a tackle, take a shot, good passer. And young, man-child, kind of like Greenwood, but he's 16.
Dortmund's in for him as well, right?
Dortmund were super hot on him, but we apparently a couple days ago, his family was at Carrington getting the walk around. They brought in the big guns, aka Sir Alex Ferguson, to kind of like sweeten the deal. And I think his ear is being turned. I think Ole is super hot on Jude, is promising game time next season. Said you will get time at Manchester United, and is fighting tooth and nail against Dortmund, who obviously want him to replace Sancho, who we're hopefully picking up.
His dad was smiling ear to ear.
He was. That was quite a smile.
So I was like, that seems like he's going to Manchester United.
It's a good sign, right? That smile was like a pretty good sign.
You look for the intangibles in the transfer market tree. You look for the dad smiling big.
The Instagram stuff. It's like they add up.
It's tier zero, sir. Next bit of news. Klopp has lost 4 games since 10-year-old Manchester United fan. His name, Darragh Curley, sent a letter to Jurgen Klopp pleading them to lose. And
remember, you mocked me. Another eating your words. You mocked me. You're like, what is this news? And then they've gone on an absolute skid, crashed out of the FA Cup, lost their first game in the Premier League, and gotten battered by Atletico in the Champions League. So I just wanted to, just be like, the boy came good.
Did you see Klopp when he went out? He walked out at Anfield, and some kids put out their hands. And he literally said, "Like, what the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah, he's like, put your fucking hands away.
It's like watching Klopp lose, like watching Pep lose.
No, Klopp's better.
Klopp's way better because there's like a rage.
They're too big for his mouth.
Yeah, I love it. He's crazy, absolute crazy. Sir, we've been touching on it all pod, but it probably makes sense to just dive into here. We talked about the Premier League has an emergency meeting tomorrow, but just because we're not going to do a pod until Sunday, I thought we could get into some, American Red Devils, pure Muppetry speculation. What happens if the season is postponed, right? So there's a lot of scenarios that could happen. Clearly, the market, like we've talked about, the NBA, MLB, NHL, they're postponing. They're delaying it. I mean, actually, most leagues are postponed until further notice. March Madness is canceled, right? So if you think about March Madness being in 3 weeks, most likely the earliest we could see football back would be a month. The scientists, the experts, they say life's not going to be normal for really 6 months. You look at Italy, it's already been 2 months there. It's still not getting better. You look across the world, to any indication, this is going to be probably through, the next couple of months. And so that means football matches with fans, that at least isn't going to happen. Maybe the players can quarantine and then the teams can play without fans, maybe in a month, maybe in 6 weeks, but then you're already into mid-April. You're probably into mid-May, sir. If the season's over, and then we have the Euro Cup this summer. So realistically, there's not many. This has never happened before. This is completely unprecedented, and there's a few different cases I wanted to walk through with you. You say your case is to cancel Euros and play the rest of the season in the summer, right? Is that what you said? You've kind of been saying that on the pod.
I mean, all depends on how bad this gets, of course, because it could go from 4 weeks to 4 months.
The idea that they're going to cancel Euros, move it to the next year. But even if they do that, I don't think we're going to play the remainder of the season, right? I just don't think in the summer break they're going to play all these fixtures all up until the starting date of the next season. I mean, the season starts literally mid-August. So it'd be really tough to play all the remaining games and then start a new season literally August 14th or whenever the date is. I think that's pretty unlikely.
But what do you do about relegation? I mean, that's kind of like the biggest, especially with football.
I'm going to get into that. If the season ends, that is one scenario. You're right. We move Euro to 2021. Then you have the World Cup in 2022. This could be the winner. So again, that scenario, this is all kind of crazy. We're even discussing it. That scenario is probably unlikely. Ending the season as is, and say, hey, Liverpool are champions, and then we're out of Champions League. That's also a scenario too, sir. Just if
the Europa League ban holds, we make it. But you're right.
Yeah, exactly. So then there would be legal challenges, right? Because you have promotion, relegation. They would sue the FA and it would go to court. Again, this whole thing would be a nightmare legally if we just ended and say, hey, Liverpool are title holders. If we finish the season and start next season as this prior season. So say if we just say, hey, this season never happened, and then we start a new season in August.
You just cancel, you just write it off, you just scratch it off.
Just say, hey, this season never happened.
Restart.
And you start next season. We're in Europa League. Everyone's still in the EPL. Liverpool doesn't win the title. You're going to have all these legal challenges from the championship because leagues, everyone's going to sue because they say where they are, they should be getting promoted. So essentially, that won't work either. The most interesting scenario I've heard so far is that having a playoff at some point. Right. So essentially anything that is not mathematically decided, you have a playoff to decide Champions League football, or you have a playoff to decide relegation, and you have to have a playoff to decide the title. Because the only team who's not mathematically out of it is Man City. So Liverpool, since they haven't mathematically won the league, they would have to essentially play Manchester City in a playoff to decide who is the EPL title holders. And that actually has no legal issues because every team would play, for their spot in the league.
And what you do that in the summer?
Spot in the Champions League.
You would play those matches in the summer or whenever they're ready to resume football?
And it would take how many teams are eligible for Champions League right now? It's City, Leicester, us, Tottenham,
Chelsea,
Wolves, Chelsea. I mean, you would play literally like a tournament. You could do it over a week. You could do it over 2 weeks, and you can decide who gets Champions League football. With relegation, you can do the same. Again, something is going to have to be done to decide it. Or, I mean, to me, I think, I think they're just going to probably start this next season as this season just didn't happen. I honestly think this season will be treated.
Can you imagine the Scouse Bastards? That would be so amazing. The Scouse would get so close.
They won't be rewarded. They won't be rewarded the EPL title. They will not. If the season is not finished, they won't. They haven't mathematically won it. Now the craziest part is they could literally mathematically win it in like
a week.
6 days.
Right.
It's really unbelievable. I mean, clearly there's more things to worry about than the Scouse Bastards winning the title, given all the health concerns. But could you imagine that scenario where they're 6 days away of winning the title, and then the season's just canceled, and then there's no winner of the league, mainly because they didn't, we
could pick up Sancho in the summer, sir. We could make a run for the title next year. We could stop those Scouse Bastards
because we don't get Champions League football, and I actually think. I'm not that worried about Liverpool winning the title. I've already kind of accepted that fact because it's been so long. It's really the issue that United are playing amazing at the minute, and that we probably would kick on to Champions League football. We probably would win an FA Cup or even a Europa League, and that would do so much to attract new players over the upcoming transfer window to our club. And we're kind of being robbed of that because you have to be realistic. If Arteta has it, players have it, they have to go into quarantine. Then they're not training. I mean, United's not going to have training sessions. These players are going to get unfit. So the idea that they're going to be able to just come back on a moment's notice to play, top level football in the English Premier League, I think is unrealistic. If you really think about where we're headed with this event, you're probably headed Euros probably being postponed to the next year or even canceled. You're probably thinking of this season being canceled. I mean, I know we're obviously extrapolating on a trend line here, but this is really bad timing for Manchester United, and it's something that really breaks my heart, sir. I mean, I wish none of this ever happened. I wish we were on that flight, having a dark ale on the way right now, getting ready for an amazing Tottenham match, and right now it looks to not be the case. Right.
The only thing is, how would we have gotten a pod out tonight, sir? I didn't even think about that when we booked our travel.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about it.
I didn't even realize that. It's like we would have had to get a pod out
on the plane,
for the last game. It would be, hey, if we go now, it would be an empty flight, sir. Either way, we're conjecturing. We don't know what's going to happen. There's so much unknown. So it's fun to play out the scenarios like you said, but all we're going to do is sit and wait and see what happens in the coming weeks.
I think those scenarios, one of those scenarios is going to.
No, they're likely. You're right.
The idea
cancel,
that we're
restart,
come back in 2 weeks and play the rest of these games is like.
No, you're right.
I think that's like a 10% chance, like 5. I mean, the idea that we're probably the remainder of the season isn't played is probably that's probably the median case. Like, I mean, maybe that's just me, but I can't see how teams are going to be able to bounce back that fast from this.
We will see, sir. We will see. It's going to be very interesting.
All right, fan questions. That's enough of that speculation on the league. Jumping in here at Dave Paz on Twitter. Brilliant that tie overloads of good performance. I thought Father Fred was standout tonight. Loads of interceptions and controlled the midfield. World class. Fred has been playing lights out. Your boy, sir. How you feeling about Fred?
El Pastor, man, he had a great match today. It was really all over the place. Very calm, collective. His decision making has gotten so much better. He's just so much more calm on the ball. Doesn't have as many errant passes. This still does it occasionally, gives the ball away in some troublesome areas, but that's really been cut down a lot. And then that great ball for Mata for that goal. So he's kicking on. I'm proud of the lad.
At Cassidy Sanders, this is what Manchester United should be doing against lesser opponents. All the signings have been spot on. The future is definitely looking bright. Interested to see what happens with the rest of the season. Quote, if it even happens. We have to be phased for Europa League right now. Hashtag MUFC, hashtag Ole in. At Mark, at Burkett Mets, quote, while Sancho's top of my list for transfer this summer, Grealish or Madison to prove depth for the number 10 role is key. Bruno unlocks everything. I have to agree with Burkett on that one because, what happens if Bruno goes down, sir? We can't have Jesse Lingard hop in there. At Nimley T. Williams 3, quote, good job, lads. Hope this is not complacency to say, okay, no need to buy Sancho, Grealish, or Dembele. I mean, I don't think I would hope we're not getting complacent. This is Lask. We have to keep keep expectations low. It's only Lask.
It's Lask, and we're 11th place, and not 11th place. We're on 11 game run, but we're still 5th place. We haven't won a league, haven't won any silverware, so we can't get. I'm excited. We can't get too excited. We got a lot to do. If there is football to be played, so this team needs reinforcements for sure. I don't know if Pogba stays. That takes like $100 million out of your transfer kitty. I don't think it's gonna be that exciting of a summer. Maybe just a Sancho, because that kind of changes everything.
At Team Chaffinich on Twitter, a good result from the boys today. I have a coronavirus-related question, though. Since Euros may not happen, your thoughts on how it affects, 1, Rashford's recovery, and 2, Pogba's, he says, future. I think we covered most of what would happen if Euros are canceled. Pogba's future with coronavirus, does that make Pogba less likely to go, sir? You think that weighs there?
I don't think that has an impact, but he did hit on a thing that I was actually thinking about. Is like if the season's paused for a month, it does allow a young lad named Marcus Rashford to get back into shape. Gives him extra time for recovery, kicking on exactly when we need him to kick on. So if it's just a pause for 3-4 weeks, maybe more, but we still continue the season, that does allow Rashford to get back into the fold, and that would be exciting to see.
Question: would you feel bad if the season was canceled and Liverpool didn't win the league? Would you feel bad for Scouts bastards?
I mean, yes, a little bit, but I would love it as a United fan. I feel a little bad for them, but I would love it.
I texted my Liverpool. Yes, I have a friend who's a Liverpool fan. I texted him and I said, the league has to finish for you to get the title. And then I texted him a photo of Sir Alex with the treble. The fact they even compared this team is absolutely an insult to all Manchester United fans. They said, they were like Sky Sports, Jamie Carragher, comparing the Liverpool team to 1999. And it's like, come on, you know how hard it is to win the treble? It's like you got to win 2, then you might even be compared. Right?
They said the same thing with City, last year.
Unbelievable.
They get so ahead of themselves, but you know how hard it is to win, let alone just win a league and a Champions League, but to win all 3, that and the FA Cup. So they're far away off of that, just to walking away with the league. And they might not even get that, the universe might take that away because they've been celebrating too much.
At KTM_Anderson, quote, what a match to have before this all ends, ! So many fantastic goals. At you boasting on Twitter, quote, made Lask look as terrible as Tranmere. Impressive display. Hopefully the tournament can be finished over the summer. # Igalo FC. And at Man United Albany, quote, damn shame. It's all coming together now on the cusp of a total European shutdown of sports. Sir, I'm reading these tweets and I don't even believe the words coming out of my mouth. I feel like I'm in a dream. Somebody pinch me, wake me up and tell me Liverpool aren't going to win the league and that there is no total shutdown of sports worldwide. Because what are you going to do when you're at home and you're quarantined, sir? Dude, what are you going to do?
It's so surreal. It's surreal to begin with. All the news, everything that's been happening, scary stuff. But then, the idea of being locked in your house with my wife and no football, that's terrifying.
Sir,
I'm going to be watching old matches.
You're afraid of your wife. Like, with my wife?
All I got to say is, thank God I got a house now. I used to have an apartment. We'd be killing each other for 2 weeks. Self-quarantined?
Sir, look, that's been the podcast. It's been real. Apologies if we talked too much about the coronavirus. Unfortunately, it's hard to get away from now that it's coming to the sports world. We like to focus on, sports and all the crazy Muppetry along with it. We usually don't touch on, these bigger topics, but right now I think it's everywhere, right? And when you're talking about a shutdown of English Premier League, a shutdown of Champions League, I mean, this is something that is completely unprecedented, probably in the last 100 years. And I mean, last
time it happened was World War II.
It was World War II,
right?
And the timing worked out with the leagues. They literally just didn't play for 6 seasons. So, there was never a mid-season shut off, and they had to decide what to do. So, look, the American Red Devils will be here. The pod never sleeps. We have a contingency plan. If the game doesn't go through this weekend, we're going to do try to do a live stream where we can stream at 9:30 a.m. Pacific on Sunday, a classic Tottenham fixture or a classic Manchester United fixture, or we'll just tell you where you can watch it. Alex and I will probably watch it together, and then we'll do a podcast covering the classic fixture, and then we'll talk about all the news. There's going to be tons of news coming out. What's going to happen with the team? I'm sure players are going to be on social media discussing this. There's going to be transfer news as well. Like, the pod never sleeps. The content never stops. The games might, but we're going to find classic matches. So watching some 08 matches,
I think the world's going to need American Red Devils more than ever if there's no football. So we're going to be here doing what we do, trying our best, making the most out of a situation, making lemons into lemonade. So we will do what we need to do to provide you guys and gals content, Manchester United content. Hopefully there's games to talk about, but there's not. We will go back into the archives because there's a lot of great old games that we can watch and break down.
Absolutely. And, stay safe, everyone. Stay healthy. We're wishing everyone the best. Again, this is kind of trying times, but we'll get through it. Manchester United will be back. Football will be back. I'll get out of my house, or you'll get out of your house with your wife.
One day, sir.
With the wife.
One day. It's not that big of a house. Anyway, top downloads, sir. Let's do it. You want to start? You want me to?
No, sir. If you want to support the podcast, if you haven't noticed, we do everything. We do the audio, we upload it, we do the designs, the Photoshop, the merch orders. Shout out to everyone who ordered the hoodies. I mean, we made sure they're top quality. Thank you for everyone who's tweeted those out. If you want to support us, you can support us on Patreon as well. That's very popular. And you can check out our store, americanreddevils.com. Click on store. Check out our blog. You can support us in many different ways. Thank you so much for everything, the feedback, the questions. It's basically created this podcast. I mean, we started broadcasting to pretty much nobody. It's caught on, and that is why we do it, sir. We'll be doing it. Pod never sleeps, no matter what.
Another thing, it's like taking off. United's taking off. The pod is taking off. We have unbelievable record numbers, most viewership we've ever seen, which we really appreciate. We appreciate all the listeners that tune in week in, week out. I know I always look forward to listening to the latest pod on my long drive home from work, and I hope a lot of you guys do as well. So these top 10 downloads, I hope we can keep up the momentum even with less football to talk about.
Sir, give us those downloads.
Number 1, you want me to go through the whole list, sir?
Whole list, sir.
All right, top to bottom. Number 1, how you doing? Chicago, Illinois. Number 2, Portland, Oregon. Number 3, Knoxville, Tennessee. Number 4, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Number 5, Los Angeles, aka El Trafico. Number 6, San Francisco, California. Number 7, shout out Oslo, Norway. Appreciate all the Norwegians listening in, week out. Number 8, Mahwah, New Jersey. What up, Jersey? Number 9, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. And last but not least, number 10, Thousand Oaks, California. Thank you, everyone, for listening in. We appreciate all the downloads, appreciate all the support, and we just hope everybody stays safe. A lot of uncertainty, scary stuff, but just take care of you and your family, and just try and hunker down and, hopefully everyone comes out well on the other side.
Yeah. Look, not quite in the times, but definitely the best thing to do is to limit the spread, right? So again, we're not talking about Ebola here, but it's just the whole idea of being in public places or being at football matches. It's just that has come to an end, unfortunately. And sir, with this audio, we're going to be doing the pods remote. We'll probably be back in the bunker shortly. It's always better in the bunker, sir, but we always try to get out content more rather than less. So we don't want to pause the pod at all, and we want to keep it going remote. So sir, hang on there. And look, we can't forget. Sir, how many? 10 unbeaten?
11 unbeaten.
Bruno, Portuguese Magnifico. Sir, a bunch of Bounce and Busby babes. Unbelievable. Manchester United, never say die, dude. Best team in the world. Will follow them, whether this season's canceled or not. I absolutely love it. And through the ups and downs, man, I'll tell you what, watching them beat last 5-0, it was unbelievable. A vintage Manchester United performance. Just absolutely love it, sir.
How good does it feel?
Always at the wheel, baby.